Just as we worked with our right side from the back to the arm to the right hand in order to become supple for our bow, our left hemisphere has to work as one in order to flourish whenever it comes to changing pitches and positions. Here are the critical contact points from big muscle to little. Shifting evolves from your back, through your shoulders, elbows, all the way through the wrist and fingers. It has to be thought of as one plane, just like when you're using the bow. You can think about it like throwing a Super Bowl winning touchdown, or like throwing punches in a heavyweight fight, because we are athletes. To tap into this athletic body awareness, let's do a little bit of shifting from an A all the way up to an high A. Of course, I'd recommend using a drone, but the main thing you're focusing on right now is keeping contact with your fingers as you're going all the way up from octave to octave. If you notice, the elbow is actually really important as far as how much leverage you're going to get while shifting. As we're going from note to note, it becomes a bit easier to see that if your angle is low, you'll only be able to access the lower notes. So if you're doing from an A to D, for example, your elbow won't need to really lift too much at all. Notice that as I'm approaching the F sharp, G sharp, and thumb position area of the bass, that my elbow is having to slightly adjust the angle, lifting just a bit so that I can begin to clear the shoulders of the bass. That's honestly a very common beginner mistake to make. But it's not to be confused with separating your shoulder entirely from your body, because that's not going to help anything in terms of getting leverage towards the higher position. You're literally suspending weight. Yeah, you will get caught if I ever see you just resting your arm on the bass too, so don't do it because that does not help your shifts. If you ever need to figure out if your shoulders are right, give yourself a KD shimmy shake like before he hits a free throw. Sometimes you gotta hit a little dance just to make sure you're really loose. Bring the bow in when you're comfortable, because now you get to test how your connection is between your left hand sliding all the way up and your right hand coordinating with the left to facilitate very smooth bow changes. It's kind of awesome to have a mirror, because from a side angle, you can really judge yourself to see what is your elbow doing as you get towards the shoulder of the bass. As long as it's staying in the plane of a position that allows you to effortlessly slide from lower to higher position, then you will be able to controllably come to stops when it comes to shifts. My advice when you're doing the full octave shifts are to make sure that you apply more of a full bow once you make it to the higher position and back to the lower position. Shifting from the new finger simply means that instead of sliding with the old finger note, you're going to use what will be placed on the new note to slide all the way up. It's a very good stylistic choice, and it'll have its uses. Lastly, a landed shift. It's honestly really great for developing your mechanics, because while you're sliding up from your old finger, where that old finger stops is informing your brain and your physical sense of touch, where you're going to need to stay in order to land in tune for your new notes. The great news is there are no shortcuts. If you teach yourself how to play from a place of ease, then it'll become all the more easier to recognize when you're playing from a place of stress. Stress likely means that you simply need to slow down and evaluate what's causing you trouble getting from point A to point B. Once you've isolated those two notes and then brought it to feel and sound confident, but mostly feel, just like Nipsey Hussle lived, the marathon continues. We keep going again and again until we have a fully breathing, organic piece. So happy shedding and shredding. Till next time.